So, hi. In this video, we will introduce to you the automated API testing with Postman. So, as the software development is growing faster and faster, the automation must be provided and necessary for the better development experience. And the Postman is one of those tools for us to test the API and writing scripts for the automation. So in this video, we will cover with 5 sessions. The first one is about what is the Postman, and then the installation of the Postman. And next up is the two concepts that we must grasp to use the Postman, and it is the API and the HTTP protocol. And the last one is the demonstration, which we will cover about how to write simple tests, CRUD test, and the next step is the collection. Which we mean here is to run the collection of the tests that we did right before. And the last one is to draw the flow diagram in Postman. And now first one is we will cover is the what is Postman. And to say Postman is application that is used for API testing. Uh, that's pretty much of it. But if you want to know more about it, is the Postman will conduct an API request to the server and receives whether it return the response. Uh, and we do not need any kind of framework or effort. It's just a client, just like your browser. When you go into like Facebook, and these tools or anything similar tools is used a lot by developers and testers, of course, to to develop their API and also test and ensure the quality of the API. And next up is the installation of Postman. And here I put a link in the subtitle. And so here we are at the Postman downloading page. So, so we can try to download the Postman app, which we can download it by into the desktop as a desktop application. This will give a user with a full feature of Postman, or you can even use the Postman right directly on the web browser. And it, you use the Postman on the web with some limitation with the cross-object resource sharing. We can also download this desktop agent, which will, like let's say, in this post, and this agent will help us to overcome this limitation. And the cross-object uh, resource sharing limitation is a default behavior of browsers, which will block some untrusted resources that we receive from internet. And if you have experience with this before, you can use the Postman Canary, and they will provide, they will introduce some new Postman features that we can access earlier. And now we start with the first concept that we need to grasp is the API. So what is the API? And it is the acronym for Application Programming Interface. And we can consider the API as a restaurant menu in the right picture. So we as the client, we send a request to the cook, and through this API, we need the nice biscuits, and we say that send a request like I need a nice biscuit, and well, the request will come to the cook, and the cook will try to serve a nice biscuit to us as a client. And the concept is pretty much is like that. The API is just like a man in the middle, help us to know what the server will serve us. Comes to the benefits of API, and this is will um, allow businesses to expose the data and functionality of their applications to the third-party developers, commercial partners, and internal departments inside their organizations. So, for example, Tiki or Shopee, they will provide us with their data, their product data for to allow many third-party developers to build their own website that will do the affiliate to those um, to those product from the Shopee. So both of them can gain the benefits of the product, and Shopee will gain more and more client users, and also that third-party developers also can gains the benefits from the product and earn money from it. And also, when using the API, it's not required for developers to understand how an API is established. They just need to exchange the information with other goods and service over the interface. They just need to grasp the concept of the API, and that's it. And here we comes to the last concept that we need to grasp to get started with the Postman, and it is the HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and it is a protocol that used a lot all over the internet to transfer and send data. And the HTTP defines a set of request methods that define the desired action for a given resource. And also, the fact that they can still be announced, these request mechanisms are typically referred as HTTP verbs, as we can see here, the get, post, and put, and which bring in specific meanings, like the get will transfer a current representation of the target resource, or we can or simply we can get data from the server, or post, which means we will posting something, we uh, bring data to the server. And this is used a lot in the RESTful API, and also in the demonstration we also demonstrate the API testing with the RESTful API. And here is this is the client, this is the interface Postman, and run directly in the browser, and in the desktop application is not pretty much different. So what I'm doing here is trying to test this API with the first request. This will send the request to get or to use from this specific this domain API, or I can get um, specific like the number 6. And this is really how we try to send request to a RESTful API. And this is the method that I have said before, and in this they say the verb HTTP verb get, and they say that get the to use number 6 from this domain. Now we can do the posting, and what I'm doing here is try to send this JSON, and here and we can send this to this domain server, and it will create to do with this title, and it is not completed. And here we are, and we have the server with the static code with and 201, which me created. And yes, that's it. And now it comes to the demonstration, and Tom will do the first two sessions about the simple test and the CRUD test, and the last one is Boone. He will introduce about the running the collection of API testing and the Postman flow diagram.
Now we can start with Postman test tool. First thing we need to do is test an example. So we will enter the URL in here, and then we send a request. As you can see, there is a response, and you can see the status code is 200, and object of the response at the body at here, and the header. So next step is adding some testing script. So in Postman, there is a snippet of test script Postman give us, so we will use it. The first one we will use is check the status code is 200. Second one is check the content time, and for the post request we will check the successful post request here. So after adding testing script, we will resend it, and in the test result we will see the status code check is bad, content time is present is bad, and the successful post request is failed because this is get request here. So the post request is actually failed. Now we move to the testing API. For the testing API, we will use the FactStore API, and we will test with the CRUD of the product, which is including get on product, add new product, update a product, and delete a product. So for the get product, we we will add the testing script, which is status code is 200, and check the content time. We will send it. And for the test result, they are on pass. So we can see at the body there are many objects of product here, and there are totally 20 objects in any body. So second one we do is create a product. So add anybody of the grab post request, we will add the grade form here, and we will give some testing code, and we will use the success post request testing, and then we will send it. So anybody will see the product object which is created, But at the test result, the success post request is failed because it just give the status code 200. The next one is update product. So for the update product, we will give it a ID in here and a product form. Add it request body, then add some testing script. Maybe we will use the similar test script we have create, and then we send it. So the product at AD7 is update here, and the test result just to pass with the status cost is 200, and content time is represent. But the success post request is just fail. And then the last one is delete the product. So we just input the IDs here, and then we send it. Oh, we forget to add some testing script. So just similar to the before, the status code is 200. Check the content time and we'll send it. So the product delete is shown at here, and the test is always out on pass. Now we will set up a environment for testing a collection. So we will create on a request in a collection here, and in the test script at the collection we will give as a testing script at here, and then we will set up a some variable for on collection use. The first one is URL vector with initial value is the URL of we test, and the second one is the ID which we will use for the whole collection. Then we will save it and run. Where any run order we can select which request we will run testing. Then we will run it. So they will run on request. We will select add the run order before. So you can see the variable is added here, and the product is just get 200, and And that's how we use setting up an environment to testing a collection.
So continue from previous, we now show you how to run all the collection at the same time for saving time. You click in the collection, and you can see here you have some element that uh, but we just forgot on the tag and variable. So in the tag, it will display all what tag that you want to use on the collection, and the variable is the general you use for the collection. In the variable, you can see that we have the name, the internal value, and the current value. And the internal value is the value that you share with your team and use for global. And the current value is the value that you use to send request, and it not set to the server, so it set first to set it to whatever we need to test. So if you don't so in here I will let it's like the internal value is 20, and that I will click run, and for um, sometimes the run button is you can click the run button. It's because that we need to join the workspace first to so you can run the test. So because I have joined it, so I can click it. So in the runner, you can see that it display all the collection, and some element that you can select, and you can choose what collection that you want to take. And in my case, I will get all of them and click run. Oh, so it take longer than usual. I think that because my internet. But you can see that uh, after it test for the get all product, it move to the single product, and it keep continue when so, until it finish all of them. You see here that all the test is we put in the first place used for all the collector, and and the variable we input in the first place. You see here when you click on the collection, it will display the request and response for you, and you can see it, so can easily to compare in here. Oh, because I forgot to save it, so it didn't show, so I will stop, save it, and run again. Or after this time it doesn't take that long. So for saving time, I think that I will test only the single product, so we can see that what. Okay, so after finish the test, that so we can click on the collection collection. So, and we can see that what is the request and what is the response. So in this case, the response is not locked. It's because when we click that, we click run, we doesn't check the save response, so the response it doesn't save after finish. So this time I will click the save response. So and you can see here that the response it should have displayed. It will display in the result, so you can see it. If we it's, uh, if it have many collection, you can easily to check each of them and compare, and you can see the collection we have we use URL and ID. So when you have the another product but have the same structure as have the same structure, you can just only you can just change the value and test it in another one. So very convenient for that case. And next we move to I'll show you the flow, and it's a very interesting function of the Postman that it will show us how the flow of the collection of our test will go. So in the example, I will set the ID value to 20. Mean that the last product in our API, and then it will check. It will get the product in 20 and see if that product is it. So it should be this. So it will go to it will move to 21, and then it will again get the product and check if that product is it. If it is it, it will get all the product, and if it not, it will add that product to uh, server. So that is the scenario, and now we will test it. So you can see here when I press the start, the part is glowing, mean that that's where the flow will go. And you see there that the block is checked, mean that it's here to support that where the flow is going. So to the variable, and that in our scenario it the 20 product exists, so it will be not null. It will and then and it will uh, set a new variable for the ID. So you can see here that the check mark is on the bottom block, and the send request is not. So it the flow is going under in the below and keep going. So in here the project is 21, so it should be null because we only have 20 product in our API, and because it's null, so it will add the new product. Yeah, that is uh, the function, the flow function of the Postman that we can use for testing to see if the where the test equal when we set it. And I think that is the end of our demo. Thank you for listening.